Alright. Hello fellow viewers and welcome back to Safari Saturday, where we try to get as many shinies as I possibly can in the Safar-Zone. Hopefully this time it won't be a disaster. Sometimes you get unlucky in the Safar-Zone. Of course, the luck factor in this case is not tied to if I get a shiny or not, but more so what I'm doing is I RNG manipulate so a shiny will show up. So that's not tied to the shiny odds at all. But what I cannot RNG manipulate is whether or not the Pokeball catches it. So I still need luck in that regard. Good luck, thank you, darling. Alright, so I thought that we should go to Area 2 and try, at least the first one that I set was Psyduck. Then encounter type that needs to be Surfing. Shiny Star Square. I usually don't get, my Sapphire is the only game where I get Square Shinies. Hey there Ahmed, welcome back to the stream, how you doing? But yeah, let's, without too much talk, I think we should immediately start. As always, the delay 261 because we're outside and I am using Sweet Scent. But enough babble, let's get going. That's what you're here for. Maybe I should have saved a bit closer to the Safari cashier guy. That doesn't matter, it's not like I have to, like I'm pressed on time. The resets on Emerald take about 4 minutes. Which on my Sapphire I managed to find one that only is either below 1 minute or slightly above 1 minute. So you surf. Right, I forgot now I set the frame without a synchronizer, so that's what I'm gonna do. I have 2 synchronizers with me, just like I tend to do in Emerald. Please note the synchronize having the outside of battle ability to make it so that Pokemon of the same nature as the synchronizer turn up more often. That only exists since Emerald and not in Ruby and Sapphire, so unfortunately no synchronize help with that. I think if okay, with Quirky I'll get one even earlier, so that's the next frame that I'm gonna go for. So far I got 4 gym badges in my Pokemon Ruby Nuzlocke. Oh, congratulations, because Nuzlocke sometimes they tear you down at the worst moment. Hey there Kaiser Karmazin, welcome back to the stream, how you doing? A shout out to one of my Patreons, Kaiser Karmazin. Not sure how long I'll be able to stay today, no problem. I'm always happy if people show up, even if it's for a short time. Named all the Pokemon after routes in case I caught them in... I was wondering, Ahmed, because I saw your screenshot in my Discord group and I thought, okay, that's very oddly specific with the numbers, but... Okay, but that is not stupid now that I think about it. That's actually a good way to remember where you caught them. And you remind me of something I've always wanted for Pokemon games, and that would be the ability to write notes and attach notes to a Pokemon. That would really come in handy. They never did that, at least not to my knowledge. But that would be very practical if you forget the EVs that you trained, or if that particular Pokemon has other features that you don't see at first glance and you you'd have to memorize it or write it down. So a note feature would be really nice to have per Pokemon. Same with Chow in the Sonic games. Was recently doing a black 1 Nuzlocke and lost thanks to an unlucky crit. Yeah, it's always those critical hits. One coming out of nowhere. I also got really unlucky with the Battle Frontier recently, and that was just crit after crit after crit, and that's why I lost. I just lost because I got very unlucky, not because I was playing poorly. Nearly lost my starter so many times. Oh yeah. Sometimes, I mean, Nuzlocke can really be nerve-wracking sometimes. Right, so 5 seconds remaining. Let's see. I'm cursed and I always lose my starter before their second evolution. Oh, that's unfortunate because usually starters are good to have. Okay, so no shiny. I'll go for the quirky one. There we go. So the quirky Psyduck should be level 24 and it will be male. And as you can guess from the thumbnail, there's other Pokemon that we will try and attempt to get as well. Such as the Goldeen and Seeking. Maybe I'll get a Magikarp as well, depending on if I use the old rod. Trying to get the Shiny Natu as well and the Shiny Gloom. That managed to unfortunately escape every single time I met them. Especially the Natu is still leaves a very bitter taste. Just fed it. I fed it a Pokeblock that it likes, according to the nature, because adamant Pokemon like red or spicy Pokeblocks. And in the Safari, or at least in the Safar-Zone, that's how the gimmick works. You can't weaken the Pokemon. You have to either hope it works out, throw a Pokeball, or you throw bait, or not bait, but in this case a Pokeblock, or you come closer to the Pokemon, which makes the odds of the Pokemon to it would rather flee, or at least the odds of fleeing are increased if you come nearer, but also at the same time the odds of catching the Pokemon will also be higher. So it's a risk-reward kind of thing. You have to think about if that's the right choice. It's somewhat of a gamble. That's what the Safar-Zone always has been. Which makes it a bit more fun, of course, in a way, but that also means that, yeah, I mean, the failure rate here is much higher than when I am outside of the Safar-Zone. Lost my Wingull because he missed 3 times in a row. Oh no. I know I also had things happen where I calculated the odds and then it was like the odds of that happening were 0 point something%. It's insane. Sal also lost Shroomish. Oh, that's unfortunate. To a trainer who got critical hit on him. Reaction was priceless. I can imagine Ahmed felt that. Yeah, it was so sad when my Audino died because of an Aqua Jet crit. Oh, priority move critical hit. Yeah. I mean, I don't do Nuzlocke, or at least I never did Nuzlocke before. I have to say I did lose because of stupid crits like that before. It's just a it's just fate at this point. If you play Pokemon for long enough, RNG BS will happen, and sometimes it happens in the worst way you could possibly think. Of course, there's some things, especially that I see with people shiny hunting, that you could avoid there's some compilations out there on YouTube with Shiny Hunters fail compilations. Some of them are their fault, I have to say. And others are just really outright unfair. And it needed run because my other Pokemon were ground and fire types. Oh boy, yeah. Let's see. So shiny Psyduck is blue. And I believe in the anime there's a character that Ash meets who's a shiny hunter, and he has a shiny Psyduck. And this quirky PID, this quirky frame that I'm trying to get is the same that gave me the shiny Mew. So the IVs are the same as the shiny Mew that was the first RNG hunt that I did on this channel. So special attack is pretty good. HP is very good, I must say. I mean, 28 out of 31. Not too bad. Attack, I mean, yeah, 7 isn't great. Special defense and speed are terrible. But, like I always say, don't expect these shinies that you RNG manipulate in Generation 3 unless you do the battle video or the painting method. Or TGTV in Fire Red and Leaf Green. If you don't do that, you're not gonna get great IVs. Usually not. Of course, it depends on many factors. For example, some TID and Secret ID combinations give you better shinies. But yeah, in this case, this Emerald save file, I don't want to delete that one. And this is the shinies that I get. And I mean, it's a surefire way to get tons of shinies, so IVs can still be changed, well not changed, but patched basically in the newer games with bottle caps, so I don't really care about IVs as much, at least in Generation 3. Today I was so lucky I got Solrock and both of them, by the way, that both have less than 20% to get them in normal areas, routes. Yeah, they tend to be very rare. That's lucky, yeah. Always get the most common Pokemon on routes. Yeah, when you do a Nuzlocke, you have to get the first Pokemon that shows up on a new route. So if you're stuck with a common Mon, then but if you get a very rare one, like a 1% spawn, then... I mean, I have watched people do a let's play or live let's play of any Pokemon game in Nuzlocke, and then them finding a 1% spawn as the first Pokemon on a new route. They usually go wild. The loss that stung the most was my Heart Gold Nuzlocke, where I lost in the Elite Four fight. Oh no, so close to the end. Oh, that would have made me really angry. I have to try again almost 2 years later. Yeah, I can see why. I mean, I failed a shiny in shiny Gigantamax Corviknight in Sword and Shield. I mean, I have Shield. And that made me so freaking salty that I didn't touch the game for years. So, I know exactly how that feels. Right, 5 seconds remaining, let's see. No, but that could also backfire on me, yeah. Because if I lose them, it would be really sad, yeah. It can definitely backfire. I don't know how it is in your countries, but where I am from, today is, depending on which country you're in Europe, either Friday, so yesterday was a holiday or it isn't. In Germany it is, and in Luxembourg it kind of is. But usually stores were open in Luxembourg yesterday while they weren't in most parts of Germany. They call it the Karfreitag. So Car Friday, I guess. Not with cars as in the cars that you know. Hey there, James. Welcome to the stream. How are you? I mean, I didn't get a shiny yet. But I mean, I'm playing or streaming for 15 minutes now, so still in the beginning. I was sad because in the start didn't get a Tailo. Was very good for the start. Yeah, Tailo also learns Endeavor at some point, and Endeavor plus a quick attack can be a lifesaver when it comes to Nuzlocke. In England, Friday the 29th and Monday the 1st are holidays. So that's those specific Fridays or Mondays. I mean, the Monday that is coming up now is a holiday in Luxembourg and in Germany and in France and I think all the other EU countries as well. That's Easter Monday, which is funny because it falls on April Fools. But yeah, today, at least that is funny in terms when you think about how it is in Germany. Yesterday the stores were closed and then today they weren't, and tomorrow they will be. Well, it's a Sunday, of course, and on Monday they will be. So there was one day in between Saturday where they opened again. It's Good Friday. Okay, I think that is the English equivalent to Karfreitag. To be fair, I never really celebrated these days because I come from a very secular family. So that's why I sometimes don't even realize that it is Good Friday if I don't look at the calendar. I know in some countries it's a Friday where you shouldn't eat meat. And I mean, I did that. Had chicken yesterday, so already didn't do it correctly yesterday, I suppose. I don't know if other countries have that as well. I know, Ahmed, your country probably doesn't have anything related to Easter because your country is Muslim and not Christian. But Ramadan is still going, isn't it? Hasn't stopped yet. Any recommendations for a competitive team built around a toxic stall Gliscor? In what generation? What generation are we talking about? Because if you really want to build around the Gliscor, which toxic stall Gliscor is very dangerous if used correctly. Maybe use Pokemon that could get rid of Gliscor's weaknesses. Because what you have to keep in mind is that it has a 4 times weakness to ice. So either you have Pokemon in your team that can either withstand ice, so they resist it 4 times, so there's a safe switch-in. Generation 9. Alright, I'm not that knowledgeable on the Generation 9 meta, so not sure if I can advise you on the matter, but in that case, Gliscor's weakness can be ignored. I don't know if you use the Gliscor as a how do I say it, the terrestrialized one, or is that job for another Pokemon in your team? And yes, James, I checked. The Good Friday is exactly the same as Karfreitag. Doing well in singles so far, but my other team members aren't great against Urshifu or some other legends. Yeah, but to be fair, getting rid of Urshifu is pretty hard. I saw that it usually ranks really high, at least for Smogon, on Smogon. Also got Trapinch, and yes, random isn't over, it's over in Ramadan, yeah. It's April 10th, I see. Funny how after Ramadan we get another religious festival called Eid or Eid. What's that about? Don't think I've heard of that before. At least not that I know of. I'm always interested in what other countries have going on. There was one Sunday this month where it was on the 10th, I believe, if I remember that correctly. Yeah, it was on the 10th, where usually it's not a holiday, but it's a cultural thing in Luxembourg where usually it's the guy, so the man who buys a pretzel for the woman. So either for your girlfriend or your wife or whatever. And usually it's like that, but except for years that are leap years. So because this year has been a leap year, I bought a pretzel for my husband. It's just a little thing that exists in Luxembourg. I know that some German and French, Northern French parts also have this custom. I think 8 is like Christmas. I think it's in the summer. Is that how you write it? Okay. Let's see. What's the name of the pretzel holiday? Brezelsonden. That's Luxembourgish. I can type it out if you want to. Still no shiny duck. I know this must be really weird if I just say it like that, but if you don't know how, I mean, you don't know how it's written right because it's a foreign language. There we go. That is religious festival happened right after Ramadan. Oh, yeah, no, I remember. Hate it so much. The good thing about it is that kids get gifts. That's always the best part, isn't it? That is always the part they're looking forward. Get gifts and poor people get food. And I'm no longer a child, so I get no benefits. Ah, that's unfortunate. Okay, that's how you write it. E-I-D. I just, that's how you type it, James. And here's a link to a Luxembourgish site that explains it in English what it is, in case anyone is interested. It's a very specific thing. And now that I thought about pretzels, I really miss the pretzel that I had in Munich, or München as I say, because that's the German way of saying it. It really, really good. I think the best pretzel I've ever had was there in Bavaria. And now I really miss it, but it's not like I can just get into my car and then I'm in Bavaria. That usually takes 5 hours to drive there without any traffic, and that is not realistic. So it's more likely than not 7 hours of driving from Luxembourg to Munich. You got money for aid. Oh, it's kind of reminds me of a Christian not holiday, but a ritual or cultural thing, where it's also where the kids can, or usually they get gifts or money. But what do you hate about it? Is it because you don't get anything anymore? Is that it? I'll be back soon, sorry. Hey, no problem, no need to say sorry. Also, when I watch streamers, I always say it, I'm not always the most prolific chatter. Five seconds remaining. It has come to my attention that apparently you guys don't hear the countdown sound from Eontimer, which you don't need to be fair. I need to hear it. Okay, the shiny duck is something that I want. And the fish, I have to use the rods for that. Kind of weird or risky with quirky Pokemon though, because they don't have a preferred Pokeblock taste. So it's not like with the adamant ones where I know I can just launch or throw a red or a spicy one and they're gonna like it. Well, it's not like that will guarantee capture, because the Natu, remember that, just flew away. That was so rude. Maybe I'll get it this stream, who knows. It's because it's kids that get so loud while I'm a calm person, especially because people celebrate 8 everywhere. Like, remember once a bunch of kids were celebrating 8 in front of my house. Oh, okay, I see. So the streets are basically filled with kids and people celebrating that. It's like that when it's if it's either the World Cup in soccer football, or if it's the European Cup, so the EM, we call that the EM usually. And I always know if someone's honking late at night, then I know that there has to be either it's the Germans or Portuguese or the French, or any one of these. If they win, then you hear honking in Luxembourg. They just go out and they honk, and that's why I always hope that the Portuguese and the French and the German teams, that they lose, so that I don't lose my sleep. But otherwise, I don't really care about the results. I always hope that Italy wins, but I'm not a big fan. I don't buy tickets to go see them in a stadium or anything like that. And once these tournaments are on, Europe streets are full of pubs just having a beamer, just they just show that, or with big screens, they just show it in public, even though sometimes it goes against the copyright laws, but no one cares. And you'll just have tons of people watching the football game on the side of a house or a building for free. I think most countries will have a small population, small size. They usually have a lot of people who are outsiders, yeah. That's why I think Luxembourg happens to have more people from... yeah, it does, I mean... Luxembourg is basically half foreigners, half Luxembourgers, and we have a lot of... we have a lot of Portuguese people who immigrated, Italians. I mean, my dad is not from Luxembourg, he's an Italian. And we also have a lot of other nationals, especially people who don't live in Luxembourg, but they cross the border to work. Because, I mean, the salaries are much higher than in Germany or in France or in Belgium. That's why there's very often the misconception that that Luxembourgers only speak French, because we have a lot of foreigners working in our country who, if they're French, they usually only speak French. Maybe if you're lucky, they speak a bit English, and then they think those are Luxembourgish people. No, they are French or Belgium people from Belgium. Sad thing right now is that the housing crisis is really so bad right now that Luxembourgers or native Luxembourgers like me, young Luxembourgers who are looking to either buy or rent in Luxembourg, we are pushed out, and we just get told, yeah, go and buy outside of Luxembourg, but hey, that's not the point. I want to live in the country that I grew up in, you know, the country that I was born in, and I should leave my country and not live there because like a couple of rich families don't get enough money because they want even more. No, I don't see that. I don't agree with that, and I mean, that's not even an argument, honestly. And I got an answer like that on Reddit where I just had to shake my head. I mean, granted, it's Reddit. You don't expect the most intelligent answers on social media anyway. And sometimes some people in the border regions in Germany or France or Belgium, they dislike Luxembourgers because, and I quote, we take their housing away. Yeah, that's nonsense. I mean, that's not us wanting to go outside. It's us having been forced to rent outside of the country or buy outside of the country because in the country you can't afford anything. That's not our fault. You should look towards the politicians and the people who made it that way, and that's not the people coming to live in the other country. So there's that. I mean, that's not the only part in the world where something like that happens. Hopefully, I mean, with buying, I forget about that because I won't do it. I don't see the point of having to pay 1 million or more than 1 million euros in my lifetime to have a small apartment. I don't see that. I don't see the point. If I pay 1 million, I want a villa, I want a mansion, I want something huge. Okay, what do I get? Not a shiny duck, that's unfortunate. Fun fact about me, when 8 comes around, I become grumpy like an old man. Even when I used to get money, I was so grumpy that if I see someone celebrate slowly, I would look at them with hate. Oh. Like an old man. Get off my lawn. We go into that grass later as well. There we go. Right, so already or a bit more than half an hour, still no shiny duck. That is unfortunate. I think though the housing crisis, that's not a issue unique to Luxembourg, of course, but it's just sad they want to do a Monaco where they try so that only rich people live in the country and all the natives and like non-rich natives, the worker natives, have to go and live outside the country and commute back to their home country, which it's just a shame. Are you still grumpy though, Ahmed, when it happens now? Or did you tame that down? Hey there, Alex, welcome to the stream. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm now trying to get a shiny Psyduck. No luck until now. I'll also check what else I can get when I have the quirky synchronizers. So Super Rod, Safar-Zone, Goldeen, can use the same frame, and a Seeking as well. Okay, so only a Adamant Seeking, it seems like. That's okay. I just need to change the delay should I use the Super Rod later. And what if I go into the grass? Oh, I don't want Oddish, oh my god, no. Natu, oh yeah, Natu I cannot get as a quirky one. I forgot. Gloom was... No, Gloom I can get as a quirky one, okay. Good to know. Wobbuffet I still haven't gotten, but that one seems to be Adamant only. I think I'm getting sick, that's a little sad by all the tests waiting for a result. Oh no, hopefully not. Do you maybe have an idea what it is? Or slept almost all day? Well, if you did that, then your body must have needed it. Maybe try to get some rest now, or maybe don't use too much force. Don't use up too much energy. Remember once I saw kids around my house celebrating, all of a sudden one of them shot a firework at the window. Okay, that is kind of dangerous. Went out, was like out of this property screaming like an old man. To be fair, fireworks are... People underestimate how dangerous they can be, and there's people every single New Year's Eve, it's always the same. Always and every single year, without fail, there's always some articles in the news about some local guy blowing his hands off or fingers with fireworks or explosives like that. So, yeah, it's not like a usual toy where you don't have to worry too much. It's actually pretty dangerous. So I would understand, I would also not be happy at all if some kids shot fireworks up my window. So how will your Easter plans look like? Or is it just a family thing? I think I have tests to show what's wrong with my body, only waiting left. Hopefully it's not too bad. Will they be, I mean, won't that take a while? At least a couple of days, I would assume, because there's, I mean, tomorrow is a Sunday, and the day after that is Easter Monday. I know how do I say, how nerve-wracking it can be if you wait for a couple of days for results like that. Then one day can feel like a week. Okay, Wobbuffet, Gloom. Gloom is the exact same frame, so I don't need to change. If I wanna go between Gloom and then try Psyduck, that would work. That's good. Gonna love the Generation 3 surfing music. By the way, there are nice fireworks right now outside. Nice. Do they do these for Easter or another special occasion? I know in the summer that's where you usually see the most fireworks in Luxembourg. Also for a national holiday. Oh, and James, if you're still there, maybe we can go to that Japanese restaurant we missed last time. I would also like to taste how it's like. Well, it has a Michelin star, so I guess it's pretty good. 5 seconds remaining. I feel like my brain is not working at all. Last time I had this feeling during COVID 2 years ago. Oh yeah, brain fog. I know how that, that's... It's eerie, yeah. Feel like your brain is just like 50%, using 50% of its capacity. No, I always believed that the DNA test is pointless. Realized that you could have a different biological family, which blow my mind, honestly. I mean, it depends. I'm actually thinking about doing a DNA test, but not because I doubt that my parents are truly my parents, because no. There's no doubt on that. I'm definitely the child of my parents. But I would like to know if I can find maybe some family. I want to know where if I maybe have family in some countries. I do know that I have to have family in some parts of the US, so Maryland. And I apparently also have some family from my Italian side in Brazil somewhere. At least they share my family name, my last name. So I'd be interested in that. And also, before I ever have children, I would like to know if I have any genetic or inheritable diseases that maybe shouldn't be such a good idea to pass onto your children. At least that's why I want to do a DNA test like that. If you mean the place your brother chose, then yeah, sounds good. Yeah, that is the place I want to go to again. He messaged me about it, but I haven't been able to check what he said yet. I mean, yeah, it's still a couple of weeks. But they got a Michelin star, which is really hard to achieve. And apparently they make really good ramen, and now I'm interested. Can't just tell me there's good ramen and then if I don't get a bite. How could you? Fireworks are forbidden in my country. Oh yeah, they try to at least limit them a lot or severely in Luxembourg, but it depends on the canton. Some cities, like in Esch, in Esch Alzette, that's the second largest city in Luxembourg. They try to make it so that it's forbidden, but there's still some people always setting up fireworks. And in other cantons, it's not like that. Really depends on where you live in Luxembourg. It's always the mayor or the party that governs said canton that decides whether or not it will be allowed or not. DNA test is very expensive, around $200. It depends on which one you take. There's one that isn't as thorough as another one. The ones I'm interested in were about 60 euros. And I mean, I only want to know what my genes are. That in a way, I want to know if I have genes that I should maybe not pass on to my children, or I want to know where my family is from. Maybe I have relatives somewhere. Ramen Oreo, disgusting. That's just... Who invented this? Who thought that was a good idea? Those two flavors don't mix at all. Okay, what do I get? Let's see. I'd say normal Wobbuffet, which I don't want. Imagine if I do a DNA test and they tell me you have 6 more siblings on top of my 7 siblings I already have. That would be funny. Yeah, sometimes they uncover some truths that might be very shocking, and I got warned that this might happen, but they tell that to everyone. Even though I'm pretty sure that my mother or my father don't have any other children somewhere. But still, they have to say that, right? Because they don't know me. Well, it happens a lot, they told me. I mean, I haven't done the DNA test yet because it is somewhat expensive, and right now I don't have the necessary money for that. But it's definitely something I've always considered doing in the future. And there's some services that allow you to contact them. The family members. Yeah, the ancestry thing, for example. I want to know what genes do I have. I mean, I do know certain genes that I have to have. I know there's autism going in my family. I know there's ADHD. Generally, neurodivergence is very present in my family. And I also know that I got really lucky and we don't have cancer or diabetes or heart problems. At least not in our DNA, because sometimes some cancers, some problems, cardiovascular problems, for example, can be genetic. But luckily, I don't have any of these. Sometimes they test for these specific things in Luxembourg. So, in that regard, I got really lucky. I just want to know if there's what other things will I pass on to my children, should I have them. I mean, I don't want children before I turn 35. That's the youngest I would want to have children. Because right now, I mean, I always wanted to be a mom. But it's really expensive just caring for yourself. And I don't know how I would be able to afford a child. And if you can't afford a child to have one, then you shouldn't. That's why I'm using contraception, so that doesn't happen. You know, people keep asking my husband and I, hey, when's the baby due? Will there be a baby? And I'm like, I can barely pay rent for myself. How can I pay for a baby? That baby needs clothes, it needs to be fed, it needs a bed, it needs so many different things. And they all cost, and I just don't have that money right now. So that would be very irresponsible of giving birth to a child. And I just, if I have a child, I want to give my child the best that I can possibly give them. Let's see what this gives me. A couple of things I thought you said. I had a relative with diabetes. Yeah, that was oddish, but not shiny. It is diabetes, yes. But it's diabetes type 2 that wasn't genetic because she tested it. It wasn't genetic, it's because she ate a bit too much in her, I think, 70s. And that's how she got diabetes type 2. And the doctor told her she got tested. Because some types of diabetes might be inherited. Not all. And she didn't have that one. So she immediately, after the doctor told her, she immediately changed her diet. And she lost so much weight, she wasn't overweight anymore. And her diet was really good. So that's how she cured it. So that wasn't genetic in that way. It was more lifestyle and how she was eating that led to the diabetes. Also read online that being autistic can make it more likely for you to have twins. Not to my knowledge. I have never seen anything like that before. And I do read a lot of studies and meta-analysis. So would like to see where that is, but not that I know. Oh, that would be another thing that, I mean, that is one thing that I know that I have. I do have the twin gene in my family. There's been, as in fraternal twins, not identical twins. Identical twins are not thought to be inherited. That is just complete random. But as for women, there's a gene that makes the odds higher that you would get fraternal twins. So that's twins that aren't identical, but that's when you have either, instead of just one ovulation, so just one egg, there's 2 eggs that get released. So you can have 2 babies at the same time. I do have that gene. That's in my family, so I know that might be a thing. I've been told from my doctors that I might get twins. Maybe. I think that IQ test is dumb because I always say everyone is smart at something that happens to be different than another. Even video games, school isn't smart, it's all about. I mean, yeah, if you are good at school, that doesn't mean you are intelligent. That definitely. And I mean, IQ tests, I mean, they are a good predictor in certain ranges, I have to say that. But a lot of people don't really know what they're talking about if they talk about IQ. What the IQ measures is more the raw intelligence and maybe also some linguistic and three-dimensional spatial reasoning. But it doesn't test your musical abilities, which is also a separate intelligence, and it doesn't test your intersocial intelligence, and it doesn't test your intra-personal intelligence, so how well do you understand yourself. But yeah, if you have a high IQ and you brag about it, that's nothing to be really proud of. Like, it can also change a lot, right? It's not a static number that never changes. And you don't need to be a genius to become a doctor or go to university. Okay, that's no shiny, unfortunately. I wonder if that dude in the beginning who always walks around, if he messes up my frames. Just remember you saying something like you personally are more likely to have twins. Yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with my autism. That's just because we have the gene that, there's a gene that if you have that as a woman, it makes you more likely to have more eggs that get released during ovulation. So instead of one, you might have two eggs that get released during ovulation, and if those two eggs get fertilized, then you have twins, fraternal twins. And I do have that gene. I know that I have it. My grandma had twins, and my grandfather was a fraternal twin. Now, men can have that gene. It doesn't add anything to the or doesn't change anything with the odds of getting twins, but they can pass on that gene to a girl, either their daughter or their granddaughters, who may get that gene. And I do have that gene from the maternal side, so not the paternal side, the maternal side. So yeah, maybe I'll have twins, who knows. I mean, my odds are a bit higher, yeah, but doesn't have anything to do with my autism. What relative was it? Diabetes? An aunt? No, well, like my dad's aunt in Italy, I think. I mean, I have a lot of relatives in Italy, that's why. I did an IQ test and all the questions I got happened to be all different than things that I'm really smart at. Oh, so you did a test? Do you want to say what you got? Or, because there's some IQ tests that I mean, I've never done one before. But I do know how they work or how they look like. And there's some IQ tests out there, like if you do one on the internet, that's not, don't listen to that result. I only would accept the result if you would go to a psychiatrist and they would grade your score, your IQ test. If it's like an online thing, don't take them seriously. They're probably not very scientific. And yeah, even if that IQ isn't high, that doesn't mean that you can't do anything. 98, that's average. Yeah, don't care too much about it. Like Stephen Hawking said, a very intelligent man, no doubt. He said, people who brag about their IQ are losers. And you can be high IQ, but then be very stupid in other things. That is definitely true. And it doesn't need to be frozen at 98. It can actually become higher or lower as you age. So maybe it's 115 at one point. Your IQ is over 9,000. Did anyone grow up having a crush at school? What do you mean crush? As in where your notes, or your grades suffer suddenly? I did have that, yeah. Because of bullying and things like that. That's very common that happens, because if the kid can't concentrate because it feels scared out of their mind, of course it's not gonna have good grades. Right, what do you have? 1 hour, still no shiny. That's very unfortunate. I do wonder if that Stupid NPCs. Does he mess up my frames all the time? Appears to be the case. You know, like a girl or a boy that you happen to have feeling for but you don't say. Oh, a crush, not a crash. Okay. Yeah, I did have a crush at school. And funnily enough, my first love, my first crush was gay. So that couldn't have worked out anyway. And well, nowadays I'm really glad that nothing happened, or that it wasn't possible at all. But child me was so blind to the fact that he was gay. There were signs, definitely, but it just completely flew over my head when I was a child. Didn't have the necessary social intelligence to grasp it, I think. Because I was pretty advanced with things compared to when for example, I could read and write very early before school. And other things I knew of that there were infinite numbers before kindergarten. So there were some things where I was really ahead of other children, but with social intelligence and motor skills I was really behind a couple of years. So I just didn't understand that that person was gay. Oh boy, did it break my heart, let me tell you. And fun fact, I was so heartbroken, that was in 2008, that I made this YouTube channel to just kind of forget about it. And that is 2008. That's when this channel was first made. It's been a long time. I mean, in 4 years, it's gonna be 20 years. My crush was a girl. When I was a kid, we both different personalities. She was confident and strong, while I was a shy guy who lives in the darkness. Sometimes opposites attract each other. How did the crush go? Did it develop into a relationship, or did it fizzle out? Or did you just move to other parts of the country or attend other schools? So you grew apart? I mean, that's also possible. Alright, 5 seconds remaining. Let's see. Nah, Wobbuffet. Come on, where's my shinies at? 20 years since what? Sorry, was AFK. It's been in 4 years, gonna be 20 years since I've made this channel, this YouTube channel. I made it in summer of 2008, right after getting the message from my crush, my first love, that he doesn't love me back. I was crying in tears making this channel. And I just made it so that I could, I guess, just try to not forget about it, but just so that I could do something else in the meantime, not think too much about it, I guess. But nowadays I'm very happy that that didn't turn into a relationship of any sort. Wouldn't be happy either way. He wouldn't be, because I mean, you can't force a homosexual guy to be not homosexual. That's just the way he's born. Or even if he chose, that would be, I mean, I've had girls wanting to ask me out on a date or try to get my number, and I had to tell them, sorry, I don't swing that way. I'm not into girls. Funny that I never made the first move to talk. She spoke to me first. I was very scared while talking. Didn't make any sign that I loved her, but she was asking me about my family. But she was nice and kind to you, at least. There's that. She's already been 20 years, and how old was I when I did that? I was 11? When I first fell in love, yeah. And I tried to keep it a secret, but of course my mom knew right from the start, because my mom can read people like an open book. Especially her children, right? A mom can read her children usually really well. Not always, but... It's just very weird when I consider how long it's already been. And there are some people that I knew from either high school or elementary, primary school that I wouldn't even know. If they walked past me, I wouldn't be able to recognize them. There's some people that really change a lot in terms of how they look. I'm very easy to recognize. Never really changed my style or my look because I already figured out what I wanted to be or what I liked when I was very young. And I never really changed my haircut. So it's usually people recognizing me rather than me recognizing them. Hey there, Shalablades. Welcome back to the stream. How you doing? Well, until now, no shiny, unfortunately. I've been going for 1 hour and 7 minutes, and I planned on streaming for at least an hour. Ah, there we go! Shiny duck! There we are, okay. What do I throw? Not a red one. Good question. Gold is a bit too good. Let's try this one. And please don't run immediately. Okay, good. Stay. And now stay in the ball, okay? 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Ah! Oh my god, I thought I had it. That was a bit too early. Celebrate a bit too early there. Okay. Okay, you're still with me. Good duck. Very good duck. Come on, you're gonna be... Yes! Finally, first shiny. Let's go. Okay, you have to, you can't save in the Safar-Zone, unfortunately you can't. Don't understand why, but doesn't matter, we now have the first shiny, so I can use the exact same frame to look for the Gloom, so let's do that. Isn't it cute? So first shiny is here. Took me long enough, to be fair. Okay, so now it's Gloom. I really want that Gloom. Not Oddish again. I've had enough of Oddishes. But it's probably gonna be an Oddish again, knowing how these things work. Right. So in this patch of grass, we're in area 2. Funny that now when I look at my past, I like how it could be that dumb. I wish to see her. I don't remember much about her, but the hair that I love was short hair that nowadays I don't love at all. I mean, yeah, your preferences can change over time. I know as a child I liked Asian boys for some reason, but now I guess, I mean, I don't have preferences when it comes to ethnicity. You know, there's people who prefer darker skinned people and others prefer fair skinned people or hair. It's just a preference. It can definitely change over time. I mean, my husband isn't Asian at all, he's white. And I wouldn't mind if he was anything else. But I do remember that I used to have slightly different preferences when it came to boys. And they changed. Maybe they'll change again a bit. Doesn't change. I mean, I really like the kind of... at least I would say my preferences are more how the personality is and the vibes, and not how they look like. I like men who have a beard and are more, they look academic or bookwormy, they have big round glasses. And if they're not shy but calm, peaceful, then I'm sold. That's my type, and that's what my husband is. Could be black and like that, could be Asian like that, could be anything like that, and I would still love it. I also know of other people who, when they were younger, they preferred dark hair, and when they became an adult, suddenly it was, oh, I prefer blonde hair or redheads, which are very rare. I mean, if they're natural. And I do have that, I also have red hair, the red hair gene in my family. Granted, it's not a lot of people in my family that have red hair, but I could theoretically pass it on onto my children. You still love short hair? Yeah, there's some women who really look good with short hair. I have the opposite of short hair. My hair's really long. It reaches my butt now, so at least 85 centimeters, I would say. Haven't measured them in a long time. I haven't cut them in a long time either, so... Okay. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Let's see. Is this a Shiny Gloom? Or not? Let's see what I get. Oh god, no. You can't be serious. Shiny... This is a meme at this point. This is just a freaking meme. How many shiny Oddishes will I get? This is just a joke at this point. And another one. So what I had, I've level 25, so... Okay, I think it was pretty late there. Oh jeez. Yeah, Oddish strike back. It's always at least one accidental shiny Oddish. So I guess I hit this frame? It's pretty late, but still, that happens sometimes. So let's try again. And this time a Gloom, please, and not a Oddish. Infinite Oddish verse, yeah. I could make a garden with all of these shiny Oddishes. So much shiny weed. You hate black hair for females, but you like it on guys? I mean, to me personally, it depends. I usually like it when it's natural. Because I think it's a bit weird when natural dark hair women bleach their hair really blonde because it usually clashes with their eyebrows and the rest of the body. I have an army of Oddish, yep. Oh, do you hear that? The church that is... I live pretty close to a church. I mean, granted that's not hard where I am from. There's a lot of churches here. But the bells are ringing. I'm not sure if you hear it, but I do hear it. And usually they don't ring that late. But because tomorrow it's a special Sunday, tomorrow Easter is starting, that's why they ring the bells. Oddish are taking over, oh they sure are. I don't even know which number, what is that one? Number 10, number 15, number 20? No idea, I lost track. Got so many now. I think I need to start making a Pokemon box just called Oddish. I want the Gloom though. I mean, sure I could evolve the Oddish and then it would become a Gloom. But I do want to see that shiny Gloom live. Oh yeah, Natu, I have to do the adamant one. Let's see. It would give me a lot. Gloom would not... Oh yeah, I could also get adamant Gloom. So I think I might change things up. Maybe. So not the earliest Natu I could get with adamant is 15,210. And okay, that one would be 15,170. Okay. My hair was naturally black, not dark, exact black. Many people thought it was dye. Yeah, I know some people who had black or very dark brown hair and their skin was really bright. And people thought they'd dye the hair. Yes, I hate unnatural hair colors, even though I would say love to just add small bits like white color in my hair. I mean, it's not that I like unnatural, but some colors just don't look that good. If you are a natural dark-haired woman and then you have really bright, you just color your hair really bright, that clashes. But there's some people who really rock blue or pink hair, which is very unnatural, but they just look good with it. It just depends. Let's say normal giraffe. So I'll do the quirky one for at least 12 minutes. And then I think I'm gonna change up and try adamant. Well, 2 shinies is not nothing. So there's that. Shiny revenge of the Oddish. What have I done to deserve a revenge? Now I'm in the mood to play Emerald. Yeah, Emerald is always a good game to play. Right, so this time I'm going to this patch. Not that it really matters. Okay, so... Okay, that's a pretty bad moveset, but... Maybe they'll get Pokerus later, who knows. Sometimes that carries sometimes if you walk enough or if you switch enough, then all your team members can get Pokerus. Trying to figure out what you do with all these shinies that you catch. I mean, I keep them all, but some of them I actually use either for a playthrough or I try to use them competitively. And I will clone them on my Emerald and give them to any Patreon or other donors who want a specific shiny, so they can get that. So more shinies for everyone. And it's funny to get just this many shinies in such a short amount of time. How do you clone them? There's a cloning glitch in Emerald where you need to go to the it's a post game. You need to unlock the post game for that. You need to go to the battle frontier, and you need to have one box that is empty, so no Pokemon inside. And what you do is you go to the battle tower, and you save. Then you go inside. You deposit all the Pokemon that you want to clone, so upwards to 5. Deposit them into the empty box, and then you save. And then, after having saved, you go to the PC again, you pick them up, and then you talk to the rightmost lady in the trainer tower. And that is the lady who will give you the entry to have a multi-link battle in the trainer tower. And when she asks you, do you want to save? You wait until the game asks you, do you want to save? Yes, no. And then you turn off the game. And when you turn it back on again, you're gonna have the Pokemon in your party and on your PC. And that's because when you ask the lady if you register your Pokemon and she asks you want to save, there's a certain time that you see that looks like nothing happens, but the game actually saves your party and your PC separately. So if you just switch off at that point, you have them in your PC and in your team. That's roughly how it works. I've demonstrated the glitch in my Mew RNG hunt. Right at the end, I show how I clone Mew. I mean, I can have some, but what's the way I could receive it? Yeah, you will, you will get even more than the most, because, you can pick from 5 shinies per month, since you're a $5 donator on Patreon. Also, shout out to Alex, because one of my first Patreons. But with receiving it, that depends on what game you have. Do you only have Sun and Moon? I will try and figure a way how you would get them. But usually how I would say how we could do it is over Pokemon Bank, because you can actually trade using Pokemon Home. You can trade using Pokemon Home. So I transfer them up. That's no problem. That's on my end. I even take certain requests like nickname. Item unfortunately doesn't work because the items get transferred back to the bank when you transfer the Pokemon up. Yeah, Battle Tower is how you clone. And it doesn't work in Ruby or Sapphire. Welcome back, Kaiser Kamazin. I've gotten, well, I can show you now. I've gotten these shinies in the meantime. Psyduck and yet another shiny Oddish, because I don't have enough apparently. And right now I'm trying to get the Gloom for at least another reset after this one. And then I'm gonna switch and think I'm gonna try getting some adamant ones. And you're at home right now? Alright. Then I can give you the Metagross that you really wanted. And you can already think about the second one that you want, since it's gonna be a new month soon. Sorry about the Oddish. Yeah, it's, it's a meme at this point, isn't it? I think I really need, should this channel get monetized and can get my own emojis and all that, my own smileys, my own little animations for the chat, then a shiny troll Oddish I think would be very fitting. You don't have Pokemon Home, but you do have Pokemon Sun, right? I know there's some pirate servers where you can still trade using Pokemon Sun. And you can have Pokemon Home without having a Switch. To my knowledge, you can get it for the phone. So if you have a smartphone, that should work. But then again, you cannot really transfer it back to Sun and Moon then. Was never online, so I have no idea. Shoot, yeah, that could be problematic. But if that won't work, of course, then I will do something else for you. If you have any ideas what you would want. YouTube memberships, yeah, exactly. I need enough view hours for that. And if I get that, if I pass that threshold of 3,000 viewing hours per year, then I can do that. Used to be able to do online on my DS, but everything changed when the ice he attacked. I mean, I'm not sure if they are still online, but I do know that I know Nintendo took the Sun and Moon thing down, or the 3DS internet. But I do think there's still some fans who have pirate servers. So maybe that would work, and I can help you with the process then. Your Oddish will be a fine addition to your collection. I mean, if anyone here wants an Oddish, then sure. But yeah, I did talk about that with my husband earlier, and I said, yeah, I really need a shiny Oddish icon, not an icon, but a smiley or an emoticon like that, because I just need it. It's a meme at this point. And probably I'm gonna get some shiny Oddishes accidentally, of course, in Generation 4 as well, later, when I do RNG streams for Generation 4. Of course, I want to do Generation 3 first. 5 Oddishes each month. That's what I mean. I was able to use some private DS servers, but then my ISP blocked certain DNS protocols. Yeah. Yeah, I know that can happen, unfortunately. Nearly impossible. Shiny Oddish's mascot material. Funny because the channel mascot was always Shiny Latias. What is your reaction to Pokemon Z2A trailer? I mean, I am interested how it's gonna be like. That I do like the idea that they will do more Pokemon games where it's set in the distant past, and I do like the idea that we delve more into that guy's history or story who is 3,000 years old with the AZ Floette. And I really hope, as someone who loves the Flabébé, Florges, Floette line, really like them, I hope that we get that AZ Floette, because it used to be it was programmed in, but we never got the event, and that's very unfortunate. I would love to see a Flabébé or a Florges like that. Shiny Latias is cool, but Shiny Oddish is more fitting at this point. I mean, that one, I did change that one thumbnail of one Safar-Zone where it's basically only shiny Oddishes. I feel like some Pokemon shiny form isn't as good as the normal form to look cute. By the way, did you ever get a shiny Latias? Yes, it's even on my channel. I managed to get a shiny Latias on Southern Island. And even it's timid and pretty okay IVs. So I got in a luxury ball on my Ruby. So the video is, I did live stream that. Oh, really? No, really? Why? This keeps happening. Oh, and then it flees. It's for nothing. Oh my god, this is just such a joke. Really, it is. What is happening? Oddish, oddish, oddish. Was like, you already have one, so bye bye. Oh wait, I forgot to change the synchronizer. Oh well. Let's go there again. And keep trying for the Gloom. Oh Jesus, that freaking Oddish. Back at it again. I mean, to be fair, there was one where how many Oddishes did I get? But I just caught one single one because the others all fled. Keep getting Oddishes. Funny how that works, but it is because Oddish is a very... It's a encounter slot 0 and 1, and I usually do get these slots in Emerald as a shiny. But yeah, I didn't get this one, it fled. Now scared that if you get pregnant, get a shiny Oddish, not a human. Oh geez, I would love to see the doctor's reaction. You gave birth to a Pokemon, to a plant. As a mammal, giving birth to a plant. I mean, I really have so many shiny Oddishes that they could just be a garden at this point. Adamant Natu, yeah, that is what I will try for next. At least I use the synchronizer, my Espeon, and try for a Adamant Natu for a while. Maybe I'll go fishing for a couple of resets. So there's still Natu that I want, and Wobbuffet I haven't gotten yet. Gloom I also haven't gotten yet. That's what I'm trying to get now. And I also want to get a Goldeen and Seeking, but I need to use the rods for these. So my phone is letting me download the Pokemon Home app, which you apparently need for trades due to a building problem, so we'll still have to wait. Oh, that's unfortunate. But yeah, no stress with that. You can already pick the next Pokemon that you want. So there's that. Happy you love that joke because you didn't want to say it because I believe it was insulting. Nah, it's okay. That didn't insult me. The world doesn't want this trade to happen. We have to fight the world, Kaiser Karmazin. Okay, that sounds easier than it is, but... Right, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, no Oddish, please. It's gonna be an Oddish now. Okay, no. Okay, let's start for the Adamant Natu. Oops, no. Have to, there we go. No calibration. Gloom is for another day. Or maybe I do get a Gloom, who knows. That's why synchronizers are very good to have in when you do RNG manipulation. Not oddish, please, yeah. And yeah, you can save like this and the frames still advance, so that's no problem. In case you're asking yourself. No oddish, please game, that's right. Thought about Meowth now. He always says Meowth, that's right. Okay, for a second I thought, oh, he's not moving at all, but right, so the adamant synchronizer front of the party, and then hover over Sweet Scent, not like I did yesterday multiple times where I selected the right Pokemon to use Sweet Scent, but I forgot to click on it and hover over Sweet Scent, so some resets were for nothing. But luckily enough, when yesterday the stream that I did was on my Sapphire, and that is those resets are below 1 minute or slightly above 1 minute, so very quick resets, unlike here. But still, I also like when you wait for it, talking to you guys, reading your messages, having random discussions. PMD reference, Wobbuffet only ever says that's right in that game. Oh yeah, you're right. It's been wait, how long was it ago where I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon? Has it been 20 years now? I think so. Might have been. It's been a long time. I only played them once. Okay, so I could get a Gloom, but on a much later frame than the Natu. 210. Maybe I can pick a frame that's a bit closer to the Gloom, so I might accidentally get a Gloom. Maybe. My stream lagged and I didn't see the last 2 minutes. Did another Oddish appear yet? No, that happened. That didn't happen. What was the hardest Elite Four member you battled from? It was Drake, because he used Dragon and don't use Ice type much. Wasn't Drake, it depends on the generation, but I find that in Generation 1, Agatha can be very annoying with her Gengar that puts you to sleep, or she uses attacks that confuse you and you can get really wrecked if you're unlucky. So Generation 2 was Karen, I think, because I tend to use a lot of psychic types and she has a dark type team. Generation 3, it's I think the ghost one, yeah. In Generation 4, I don't think the Generation 4 Elite Four is really that hard, to be honest. Even Cynthia. But that's because I tend to have multiple Ice Beam users in my team, so Cynthia was pretty easy for me. In Generation 5, the Ghost and Dark ones are pretty tough, sometimes. In Generation 6, I thought they were pushovers, and after that all the Elite Four members were pushovers. And here's a accidental shiny Giraffaric. Hey there, are you gonna run now? No? Okay, good. That's my 3rd or 4th now, I think. Okay, so level... Alright, a shiny giraffe, why not? So I hit this frame, I think, 27, yeah. I didn't even have to throw a Pokeblock. So, gonna save. And I think that is the frame 15,234. That's the frame I hit. Click update and then hit the reset again. Hopefully this time will be a Natu. And hopefully this time it's not gonna immediately flee afterwards. But so far 3 shinies, that's not too bad. What a strange Oddish. Yeah, it's a very strange Oddish. I do have to say I do like Oddish though. It's a really cute design. Oh, that's not good. My favorite Pokemon is Latias. It used to be also my icon on YouTube. It still is my favorite. Do you agree that Flint from Elite Four member in Pokemon Generation 4 looks like Ronald McDonald? Because of his curly red hair? I can kind of see what you mean. I personally don't like Flint. Not him as a person, but I just find his team to be stupid. So he's supposed to represent the fire type, yet he has, what, 1 or 2 fire types in his team, and the rest are something else. Which is generally a problem I have with Generation 4. Not a big fire fan in general, but still, there's not a lot of fire types you can get in that generation, and that somewhat sucks, doesn't it? If you don't pick the fire starter, you maybe get, what is it, Rapidash later as a option. And I think that is it. I mean, Heatran, sure, but Heatran is really late game or post game, so can't really use that as a team or in your team when you trying to complete the game. In Platinum, they gave him a full fire team. Ah, yeah, true. I do prefer its Platinum team. Hey there, Classic. Welcome to the stream. How you doing? Glad you could make it. Got a shiny Oddish again, of course. Got this. Shiny Psyduck. Shiny Oddish. Shiny Girafarig, which is in the box now on the PC. And I've also encountered another accidental shiny Oddish that fled. And right now I'm hoping for a Natu. You could be doing a lot better, that's unfortunate. Hopefully that will resolve soon. I like the final Elite Four member in Generation 4. I forgot what his name was, but I love him so much. The clothes and hair, he's hot. I'm trying to remember who that is because I usually have a tendency to forget about the humans in Pokemon. Just like in real life, I tend to remember people's pets more than people. Who is it again? Have to check. Where's the final one again? Jeez, I've completely forgotten. Oh, isn't Lucian? It's the psychic one? It's not something that will get resolved. That's very unfortunate, but then I hope that maybe you can evade it at some point. As much as possible, of course. 10-year-old me has a crush on Ash. Really? On Ash? Okay, for a second I thought it's gonna be another shiny Oddish and was like, oh my god, you can't be serious. There we go. Now I flee. Ha. I know a lot of people who had a crush on Misty. Okay, let's see if I manage to snag at least a Natu or anything else. So not a shiny giraffe. I think that's the third one. Was a normal Oddish, to be fair. Ah, that's not good. There we go, Oddish. Not a shiny one, of course. Come on. That did advance my frames a lot, but maybe we'll land on another shiny. Not a suicidal thing, but I'd say I had a sort of a crush on Lady Death. From the... was it DC or Marvel? Please don't hate me when I mix them up. I'm not a comic book nerd. But is that the character you are referring to? The one Thanos has a crush on? Isn't that the original storyline that Thanos kills 50% of everyone in the universe, so to make a statement for Lady Death? Wasn't that what it was about? I could be wrong because I didn't read the comics. I just vaguely know from cultural osmosis that something like that happened. Because I'm friends with people who are comic book nerds. I myself am not one. But did hear about... Yeah, Marvel? Okay. I've gotten the death stare for mixing these two up. But apparently, I mean, I haven't watched the movies either, so I do know that they changed some things. And apparently Lady Death isn't part of the movie plotline. Ah, that is the original Infinity War plot. But doesn't she reject him, so Thanos ends up killing half of the universe just so his crush can say, no? That's very dramatic. Not a comic book nerd, I have no idea, but I just think she's hot. That's fair. That's definitely fair. But yeah, imagine killing half of the universe, but your crush just says, no. That would have been, or is a very pointless genocide. I just know that he is also trying to get these stones, where if you have one stone, it grants you some kind of power over a specific thing. I think one gives you power over space, the other one gives you power over time, and others give you other powers. Then again, the only knowledge that I have of these plots is through cultural osmosis. So I might be saying things that are wrong. And once I did a wiki walk, but that doesn't constitute as deep knowledge to me. I was just curious what people were talking about. 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. Shiny Oddish or... I shouldn't jinx myself too much. For a second I thought that was a actual Shiny Natu, but it's not. Is Marvel also the same house, let's say, who made Dr. Manhattan? Is that the name? I think it is. The guy who turns blue and then he gets godlike powers because particle accelerations, I guess. where everyone was raging on about him being naked in the movie. Okay, no encounter before the reset, that's good. Just don't look into the deep Pokemon lore, weird theories come from there. Arceus is a Ultra Beast. I mean, haven't seen that one before, but definitely would say that Arceus is maybe one of the weirdest Pokemon. I mean, that just comes with the fact if you're a god. Don't think Arceus is a Ultra Beast though. At least nothing really is pointing towards that fact. Ultra Beasts are Pokemon from different universes, so... Oh, that's DC. Okay, my bad. A huge crush on one girl. She was amazing, but I know nothing about Marvel, and she was a big fan of it, so nothing happened. Yeah, you don't want to have a misstep in these kinds of situations, right? I know how that feels. I just keep mixing them up. I know one of them has Spider-Man and the other one has Batman and Superman. I keep forgetting which one is which. And for some reason there's also in one of them, so that should be Marvel, where they have northern gods as well. So there's Thor and others. Loki as well. I don't know if they're humans in that universe or just half gods or just outright gods. I just know from, again, hearing it from other people that his hammer, Thor's hammer, can only be lifted by him. And apparently it has the density of a white dwarf, which would be ridiculous. If you don't know, a white dwarf is the end product of a life cycle of a star that is about the same mass of our sun. And after a couple of billion years, the star will not be able to... It reaches a point where it can't turn hydrogen into helium anymore, because there's no hydrogen to turn into helium anymore. So there's a chain reaction, becomes a red dwarf, and then the cycle continues until it reaches carbon, and it cannot fusion carbon anymore, so that's what gets left when the star dies. A hyper-concentrated ball core of carbon. And that's what a white dwarf is. And white dwarfs are so dense that if you would take a sugar cube size of a material of a white dwarf, it would weigh more than the Eiffel Tower. So Thor is just casually swinging a hammer that's thousands of tons. It's a normal Doduo. Already got a couple of shinies. Just insane if you think about that. And my friends are comic book nerds, so I know about them despite not really caring about that all much. Yeah. I also have friends where I just know a bit about certain animes that I don't watch, but because friends watch them, I know a bit of the lore. It's funny how much information you can just gather despite never watching something or consuming something. But yeah, that white dwarf density hammer, that's pretty cool. Even though wouldn't be able to... Okay, he's a god, so of course that works. And I mean that people with superpowers, obviously, it's not gonna be super scientific. Although, isn't that the Flash? Which, I don't know, is that Marvel or DC? Again, don't crucify me. Can't he just... I think I remember getting told that he can go much faster than the speed of light. Which physically wouldn't be possible, because only things that don't have any mass, like photons, can be as fast as light. Because if you look at the equations, Einstein's equations, if you want to accelerate a body with mass towards the speed of light, you need infinite energy. Or you need the mass to be imaginary, so imaginary as in the mathematical imaginary, the lateral numbers, as I prefer to call them. But there's no proof that something like that exists with imaginary mass, or complex mass maybe. So, not sure how the Flash does it. I'm sure they have some kind of hand-wave explanation for that. Question, who would you pick in Generation 3? Bulbasaur or Squirtle? I mean, usually I would pick Squirtle, but in my Leaf Green I would pick Bulbasaur. In my Fire Red I picked Charizard or, Charmander, but that is because in Generation 3, in Fire Red and Leaf Green, the legendary beast that roams later in the post-game is determined by the starter that you pick. And I picked Charmander because I wanted a Suicune to roam. And with Bulbasaur, I'll get a Entei. With Squirtle, you'll get a Raikou. And be very aware about the fact that there's a very stupid glitch in Fire Red and Leaf Green where if the roamers use Roar, don't save. Just reset. Because if you save after they've used Roar, they will be gone for good. So keep that in mind. There's a lot of people who don't know about this. So, always when it comes up, I try to remind people that this might be a problem. Just messaged your brother about the restaurant and said neither Yana or I have been to a Michelin restaurant before. Was that wrong? Yeah, I haven't been. At least I don't think so. I haven't, no. I have never been. I know that there are multiple Michelin star restaurants in Luxembourg, but I've never been because they usually cost a lot, right? War glitch, yeah, I hate that glitch so much. Okay, let's try it again. But I do remember that Japanese restaurant having a Michelin star, at least in the past. I don't know if that got revoked, if that is even possible. Because that's not usually the type of restaurants that I go to. If I had more money, then sure, but I don't. Usually, restaurants with a Michelin star, they have menus that cost like 90 euros. They usually cost a lot. Did you say my sound cut off? Yeah, they do usually cost a lot. Like I said before, my parents have gone to Michelin star restaurants before. And my dad told me how he paid over 90 euros for a menu. And that was not a lot of food. Never been to any Michelin star restaurant ever. I assumed you were the same. Yeah, I didn't go either. So, I mean, I could because I know where they are in Luxembourg, or there are some, but I don't have the money for that. At least theoretically, yes, I could afford it. But should I afford it? No, because there's things I need to pay first. Michelin stars can get taken to the lack of cleanliness, I think. That's a good question. I don't know a lot about Michelin stars. It's just funny that apparently it comes from the Michelin guy, the same guy who produces tires. Which is weird. Why would a tire company do that? I'm sure there's some kind of reason behind that. Doesn't Gordon Ramsay have multiple Michelin star restaurants in the UK? At least I always wanted to try one of his restaurants. If I can afford it, that is, of course. I've been to high-end restaurants, but not that high-end, if that makes sense. But I have eaten food that I really... That was the most expensive sushi I had was also the best sushi that I ever had. That was in the Maldives, where the sushi cost over $70. But that tuna was perfect. Was absolutely perfect. The texture, the taste, how it felt like the resistance against my teeth. It was just right. It was amazing. So the Michelin stars come from the fact that in their old books and ads for tire sales, they have restaurants at the end that they recommended. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Learned something new today. What would you say is the fanciest place you've taken me to? Yamasakura, I would... No, not Yamasakura. Fujiyama, when we went in Ash, remember? It's a bit of a fancier sushi Japanese place. Not too fancy, but their sushi or their menus are a bit more expensive than they are in other sushi places. Eventually they started rating them with stars based on how good they were, and that's where it comes from. But I have heard that the standards of getting a Michelin star, apparently they are pretty hard to attain. But then again, I'm not an expert when it comes to things like these. Gordon has several restaurants in London. Yeah, my parents went to one of them and they told me it's fantastic. And another shiny Giraffaric that I didn't plan on. Okay, let's try getting closer. Okay, still there. And that's like my fourth one now, I think. And you immediately... Okay, goodbye. Oh well, I don't need another one. Okay, that was funny, I guess. Yada yada, yeah, let me through. I have to pay 500 Poké-Dollars every time. Yeah, I think Shiny Oddish seems to make some Pokemon pretty jealous, and others have come to get their spotlight, it seems. And the shiny giraffe is pretty close. Pretty funny how that just seems to be a frame that I keep hitting. I mean, to be fair, if I have a look, there's so many frames that give me a shiny Giraffaric, so no wonder I get one here. But there's more Oddish frames, so... I just want a Natu. Christ. But Wobbuffet. Okay, so... I think I'll go for this frame later, so that would be a Wobbuffet. Because it's pretty close to this frame, so maybe I'll accidentally, you know, get a Natu. So let's try that for a couple of resets. And then I'm gonna call it a night, and I'm gonna continue tomorrow. And I think I'm gonna start with the fishing tomorrow, since I already got the Psyduck, so we don't need to serve anymore. Then I'm gonna try for the Seeking and Goldeen. Goldfish, which I really love. Goldfish are among my favorite animals. My absolute favorite animals are cats, goldfish, and emperor penguins. I have an obsession with these three. I mean, cats and goldfish are easy to see where I am, but emperor penguins not so much. I unfortunately never saw I never had a emperor penguin in my direct vicinity. I mean, in the wild they only occur in the Antarctic. And if I want to go see one, I need to go to specific zoos. And it's just a rare, like a very limited amount of zoos have emperor penguins. I think the closest one might be the Berlin Zoo. I'm not sure. Have to check that, because that would be not a big fan of Berlin, but should I ever go back, which I probably will, then I want to see the penguins. Okay, no, they don't have emperor penguins, but they do have king penguins, which are close enough. Okay, so where do I need to go if I want to see an emperor penguin at a zoo? Don't think there's a lot of zoos that have them. Okay, apparently SeaWorld in San Diego in the US has one, which is very far. I need to take a plane or a boat. Oh, London Zoo has emperor penguins? That would be a good excuse to go to London then. I mean, my parents do want to take me one day. I'm back. I had to do something. How many auditions did I miss? None. You, however, missed a shiny accidental giraffe rig that fled, so there's that. Okay, oddish again, but not shiny. I just think Berlin, I've been. I think it's overrated. It's very dirty. It has the usual problems that capitals can have with being overcrowded and super expensive, unnecessarily so. And I just wasn't really happy there, but to be fair, that was a long time ago. And I went there with a class that I absolutely hated, so with bullies, of course. My memory of that event is not going to be nice. And I do want to give Berlin another chance. There's a hotel in Berlin that I'm interested in going. And, yeah, I thought that the Berlin Zoo had emperor penguins, but apparently they don't. London Zoo emperor penguin. Let's see. Penguins, yes, but emperor penguins, not certain. I mean, a lot of zoos have penguins, but emperor penguins are really, I mean, that's very, rare, right? At least to my knowledge. Because they only exist in a very specific spot. They seem to have Humboldt penguins, which a lot of zoos have. Okay, so yeah, San Diego has one. SeaWorld in Orlando, which is also in the US. In China and Japan. I know Japan has a zoo that has emperor penguins. SeaWorld mistreats the animals, so it's best to avoid them. I know my sister told me, she was in the US before, and she told me don't go to SeaWorld. She was really disgusted with how SeaWorld treated their animals. My sister was a professional diver, and she really loves dolphins. She has actually met wild dolphins before, and that was apparently a really magical moment. I believe her. And she told me that she was so depressed for the dolphins there because apparently you could see that they weren't really happy. I always feel like having a zoo in a country isn't very special. In Iraq we have only 3. I mean, we don't really have that, like, a zoo like that in Luxembourg. If you want to go to a zoo, you have to drive a bit and go to Amnéville in northern France, which has a big zoo. There's a lot of people going from around Europe going there. I went there as well. They also have an aquarium, but they have penguins, but they don't have emperor penguins. But yeah, I just want to see an emperor penguin once in my life. Actually in front of me and not on the picture or like a photo. And I really want to touch one too, but I know that you are not allowed to do that. I do have to say I want to go and visit the Antarctic for at least once in my life, if that's possible. And I want to go there to see the emperor penguins and to whip out the telescope and look at the night sky, because that is a kind of night sky that I usually don't get to see. It's the southern hemisphere and it's the southern pole. So there's a lot of star constellations that I cannot see in Luxembourg because it's impossible. Yeah, most ocean animals need huge enclosures. Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't have that in most places, especially not SeaWorld. Okay, for a second I thought it was a shiny giraffe, but no. Yeah, they do need, I would guess they would need very special accommodations for emperor penguins. That would be really complicated to have them, I'm sure. I just want to see one with my own eyes. That's all I'm asking for. It's already a lot, I guess, yeah, but that's not so good. Normal Natu. There's been multiple SeaWorld controversies, haven't there? When I think of SeaWorld, I've never been, right? Because there's no SeaWorld in Europe, at least I don't think so. So I've never been, but when I think of SeaWorld, I think of the controversies that I read or heard about SeaWorld and not SeaWorld in and of itself. So I know that SeaWorld is not exactly something that I would like to see or go to. Because already the bad things that I read about it or heard about it, and also my sister saying how inhumane the enclosures were for certain species that they had. Didn't also some trainers die because the animal... I think there were at least 2 incidences of that happening. No, that's very dark and macabre. But I do remember reading about orcas, killer whales, biting on trainers, chewing, and I mean, you can guess what happens. Jeez, imagine seeing that live as a child. That must mess you up for the rest of your life. You're gonna need trauma therapy for that. To be fair, I'd have too much respect for an orca. I wouldn't get too close to one. I know usually humans aren't on their menu, but still, I do respect those animals. They are larger than me and they have very, very dangerous teeth. Okay, we'll go eat some food. In very hungry. Good luck. I'm seeing more oddish. I may miss the rest of the stream. Hey, no problem. Enjoy your meal. I'm going to stop the stream soon anyway, so you know you probably won't miss that much. And I'll be streaming tomorrow at the same time again, so not sure if I ever told you, but my late godmother had a scientist friend who went to Antarctica for vacation. Oh no, you haven't told me. That's cool. Before I was born, so I'm not sure if they took photos. Or I would like to see those, if they did take photos. But yeah, Antarctica is basically only populated by scientists. And I want to go there just to see, like I said before, I want to see the Antarctic, how it looks like. I'm gonna need a very big coat. I mean, it gets really freaking cold there, like minus 80 degrees Celsius. My eye wart is probably gonna freeze. I just want to see the emperor penguins and I want to see the stars. The sky. And see some constellations that I haven't seen before. As a graph, certainly, but not with my very own eyes. Okay, what do I get? No, a shiny oddish. Okay. Okay. Gonna be the last reset. Let's include Antarctica on the road trip. Yeah, sure, just drive to Antarctica. No problem. I mean, I would love to do a world, like a world, not a world voyage as in every single country, but every single continent without using a plane. Would be possible if you take a boat. Would take a long time, but that doesn't really matter to me. That is something I would be interested in. Usually I'm not that big into traveling long distances, but I would really like to at least visit certain countries before I bite the dust at the end of my life. For example, Japan, I want to go at least once. There's so many places in Japan I want to go to. There's also specifically in Asia where I want to go. To be fair, there's also countries that I don't want to go, especially not alone, like India. It's very dangerous there as a woman, unfortunately. But yeah, Australia, I also want to go to Australia, New Zealand, and Antarctica. Also want to see America and some part of South America as well. Canada. Also Africa, but seeing as the political situation there is not really that stable, maybe I gotta wait until it becomes more stable. Orcas in the wild are very passive towards humans, if that gives you any ideas how poorly SeaWorld treats them. Yeah, orcas are actually so intelligent that they know that messing with humans will give them the wrath of other humans, so that's apparently why they don't mess with humans. You wonder how we'd get to all these places without flying, but I don't mind flying, but I know you don't like it. Yeah, I know you don't mind it, but I hate flying. I hate it so much. And with the whole Boeing things going on, I don't want to... That's not how I want to end my existence, to put it bluntly. I know it's very irrational to have that fear, but yeah, a cruise would be a way to visit all these places without a plane. Love stargazing. It's one of my favorite things to do during the summer months. Yeah, stargazing is one of my absolute favorite things to do as well. I mean, to be fair, I am an amateur astronomer, so of course. And I still remember the sky in the Maldives being different. I saw some constellations that you can't see in the northern hemisphere because they are below the horizon, at least the horizon from your viewpoint. And that was really interesting. For the first time looking up to the sky and not immediately knowing where what is. And not seeing the pole star exactly at the North Pole, because if you're on the equator you're not gonna see the North Pole, obviously. And there's not going to be that much light pollution in Antarctica, so I think the sky will be really clear and I'm going to see a lot of stars. Okay, the last reset, what will it give me? Is it going to be an oddish? Yeah, but not a shiny one. Okay. It's unfortunate, but still I got a couple of shinies. Gonna show them off here. Child on warm summer nights, I'd lie outside and stargaze. Yeah, that is just life, isn't it? One of the best ways. Okay, so I got this shiny Girafarig, this shiny Psyduck, and this shiny Oddish. So that's the haul for this stream. I've had better hauls, of course, but it's better than nothing. And I got the shiny Psyduck, that's what I really wanted. And, well, that's been it for today. As always, thank you so much for being part of the stream. And tomorrow it's gonna be, yet again, Safari Sunday. So, see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye and good night.